What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast. My name is Devin, and the question of the day is, do you ever think that the MCU will be as near what it was after Endgame? For me, because it's unique for us, because we've already, watched all the stuff once before when they came out, in the theaters, and so, not the chronological timeline, but so what we've seen so far, it's fine. It's so far these shows and movies, there are some of them that are worse than others, but some of them are pretty good. But as of right now, yeah, no, I don't see it getting anywhere near the hype of Infinity War and Endgame.
My name's Riley. I agree 100%. I don't think that it will ever be as full storyline as Infinity War was.
Oh, yeah.
The Infinity Saga.
It's near, perfection of 10 years of storytelling with solid continuity and awesome character development. And, it's going to be very tough, tough.
My biggest fear is that they're going to try to do that again too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think 10 years was a lot, but I think it was a needed, because it's 20 movies or so in the 10 years, which is about 2 a year. And right now, as we know now, they're coming out with the Kang Dynasty stuff. And
Secret Wars and stuff
Secret Wars, Secret Invasion.
Those are big storylines in the comic books.
I think each of those could have been their own saga. Infinity Saga.
The Kang
itself.
Saga or something, yeah.
I think that they're going to rush it.
Oh, yeah. This last one was they called it the Infinity Saga because it circled around the gems. They could have called this one the Quantum Saga or something like that, or because, you could probably, do 20 movies of stuff revolving around the quantum realm. And
yeah, obviously you don't want it to get stale, but you also don't want to rush past it.
That's a valid...
In the new Ant-Man movie, sorry.
It's all good.
In this new Ant-Man movie, if they go into the quantum realm and then they're done with the quantum realm after it, I'm going to be a little upset.
Oh, yeah. No, people have talked about a lot, right, about the problem with Phase 5. It's, we had a thing that everybody kind of, they would do, they would branch out a little to do their own stories. But what made this such a well-rounded, connected universe is because we had, the overlying, Thanos and the stones and the Avengers, the big bads. And so far in Phase 5, we don't really have anything. We just kind of have these separated deals that don't make it really feel connected. But in this one, this is an example of one of those stories that is pretty solid, even though it's
in that new gen.
Not really. It's new deal. And we're going to be talking about Shang-Chi, the Legend of the Ten Rings. This one opens up with Zhu Wenwu. This is ancient times. I don't know if it ever gave a date, but it's way back in the day.
It was it's almost like Mongolian War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ancient. We see that Wenwu has the 10 rings, and he uses them to wage war on his enemies. He's conquered many kingdoms, and while I don't think he's immortal, but the rings give him slow aging, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think he's immortal. I think if he got wounded, he could die from it, but the rings stop his aging, I believe.
So he gets to kind of witness all the historical events, and he uses the terrorist group known as the Ten Rings to influence history however they want to. And essentially by kind of the 1990s, she has everything. He has an empire, he has riches, he can do essentially whatever he wants because he has the 10 rings.
Yeah, he has his whole army, all of it. Yeah.
And it's what's interesting is he wants more. Like he's still not satisfied, and that's the thing with power, right? Is you'll never be satisfied if you just want power.
Sometimes I wonder if that was like the drawback of the rings. Like, do you think
kept
the
wanting
rings
stuff.
were the thing that was causing him to continue to need more? Or?
I wonder if it's like money, where it's like it's a inanimate object, but we the people give like
Power
the attachment, yeah, and he just kept going after more. This led him to this like mythical like village of Talo, because I guess it has like magical properties and whatnot. So he just wants to take it. The forest literally it opens and closes, and like it forces his men to drive off a crazy path. Their car flies off the cliff with them in it, but he uses the rings to escape and stay on the cliff.
I think right then and there, if he would have fallen off that cliff, he would have died.
Mm-hmm.
The rings would have just been at the bottom of that cliff.
Yeah.
But so he's not immortal, but he's definitely well off with the rings.
He walks into the forest and he meets this woman named Lee, and they kind of fall in love during battle as they're like fighting each other. Well, I guess as she kind of whoops him.
It is like the first time he's ever been.
Yeah.
Beaten.
Oh yeah. And so they have a nice life. We learn that she left her home, so that caused her people like told her that she had to give up her powers. But in the meantime, they gave birth to Shang-Chi.
And his sister.
Yeah, what was her name?
Xiaoling.
Xiaoling.
So when he got married, he put the rings away.
Right. So he gave up his powers too.
He was willing to grow old and
yeah.
live.
He was a bad guy who was a good guy for a little bit.
Yeah.
So we cut to present day. Shang-Chi's all grown up. He's like in his 20-ish, I guess. Him and Katie, we meet Katie. They're both like they essentially park cars for a living. They're valets. They've been friends for like 10 years. All their friends and family. When we immediately meet them, they're like, "You got to grow up. You got to go get a real job." And like they're just kind of like drifting through life.
That pretty much the entire family is like disappointed in the outcome.
I think it makes more sense in hindsight with Shang-Chi, but yeah, with Katie, she's just doing nothing with her life. They riding a bus to work. When these thugs try to take over take his pendant that he got from his mother. And we get to see a really cool action scene of, cause like, it's pretty funny cause Katie's like, bro, this dude doesn't know how to fight. Why are you picking on him? And he just whoops these three guys. But there's like this big henchman with like, a sword, like a laser sword for a hand.
His name's Laser Fist.
Yeah. They have to fight. The bus that they're on gets like tore apart. Katie drives it for a little bit.
This is like in my head. This is the worst possible outcome.
Oh yeah, they crash and they do so much damage to everybody's car.
While they're doing this, their Laser Fist is because he has like his hand is a red hot laser cutting through metal, anything it touches, plastic, rubber, everything. He cuts the brake line. And then the bus driver like passes out or gets hit with something. And so Katie has to end up driving.
And they just run over like so many cars.
Nice cars. Like this is like across from oh man, it was bad. It was all on video, so like they're definitely gonna get charged.
Yeah, the dude in the Spider-Man Homecoming who was like, Spider-Man, do a flip. He was in this and he was recording the fight the whole time.
I hope he becomes like a new guy at every one.
He just shows up randomly. But the bad dudes get the pendant.
Yes.
Which sucks.
But before before they got split up, like before the bad guys got the pendant, he said, "You and your sister deserve what's coming to you."
Mm-hmm.
So
Shang's like, I gotta go find my sister. So they leave and they go searching for his sister. Flashback. We do a lot of flashbacks in this movie. We don't really know any specifics, but this flashback shows us that after Shang's death, his father turned Shang into like basically a murder machine.
after his mom died.
Yeah, no childhood, and
It was the day after.
Mm,
Immediately became a training weapon.
and when he turned like, was it 14 or
12.
15 or something like that?
When he turned 12.
Well, it was his first assignment.
I
I thought it was 14.
No, because he was 6 when his mom died, I believe. And then at 12 is when he was sent to... I could be wrong.
Somewhere
Yeah.
in there.
A very young age.
Oh yeah,
Like-
probably not where you should be an assassin, but but he left for America and changed his name from Shang to Sean. And this is one of those moments where in the MCU where like he was opening up into this like dark past, and like
You didn't like it. I think it's kind of funny.
and then the waitress shows up and she's like, what did she ask? Like,
Would you like some mixed nuts?
or they asked for
drink?
food.
Oh, that's what it was. It was food.
Two options are food, and they answer like this, and they're like, well, we're all out of this,
Yeah,
and
it
then
was
they're like,
vegetarian or chicken. They're all out of steak, and then they go vegetarian, and then she says, "Oh, we're out of vegetarian too." So what would you
I'll
like?
do your only option. It's like it. I just wish jokes wouldn't interfere with like
Storytelling.
yes.
Yeah, I think so. That's the new generation thing. I mean, it's,
Well, I mean, it definitely happened with like older, like the early Marvel movies, but like I didn't mind them as much because, well, one, RDJ was lovable and he like nailed everything, but I think, I mean, it was definitely a thing. There was like, you remember in Endgame, right, where they're talking about like how Thanos wanted to go to the farm afterwards,
Yes.
and Rhodey says, "Oh, Thanos has a retirement plan. That's cute." I'm like,
I mean,
So, like-
in my head, I think it's okay if it's an already established character. Like in this situation, we're learning about this new character, like his actual backstory, and then they cut it off.
yeah, I want to learn more about this person first.
So I think that's the biggest issue that I have currently, is that they're introducing all these new characters and they're trying to make it funny how they're introducing it when we just really need the facts.
Levity is fine,
Yes.
but too much is a problem. So as they're flying on their trip and they're looking for Xialing, and this kind of unfolds rather randomly and quickly. They go to this location that the note had,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of this like like this building with like, you know, no open windows, no doors and everything. It has scaffolding like all around it. And they walk in, and then this dude's like, "Oh, hey, Shang, here, you're ready to fight. Let's." Which I guess kind of makes sense because we're like, you know, just as confused as he is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of interesting because
No, the underground fighting ring.
yes,
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
we get to see like there is underground stuff going on throughout this
yeah.
whole universe that we've not been able to see before.
which is fun. I think it's really fun because
Yeah.
like the black market exists in the real world. Let's make it exist in the MCU, and let's just go crazy with it.
Yeah, I mean, because like we haven't seen any of that yet. We've been facing big bad after big bad.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's really interesting to get that new take.
And as they're walking in, they're explaining like that he's like a big main event fight. And we
guy.
get to see Abomination versus Wong. And I don't know, people have problems with this new design of Abomination. I think it looks cool because it's super comic accurate
To be honest, I didn't notice a difference.
from the first Incredible Hulk.
I don't remember watching that one. It's been so long.
I don't think we even talked about it.
We didn't.
Um,
It was like one of the first ones.
Oh yeah, I think it was the second one
Yeah.
after Iron Man. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Because they didn't keep any of the same actors, except for Thunderbolt, maybe.
Thunderbolt and RDJ were in it at the end.
Oh, that you're right. Whoops.
None of the actors. And Wong uses the sling ring to like throw a punch back at Abomination, his own punch back at him, and knocks him out. Yeah, and then they go into a holding cell. You can see in the sling ring, which is kind of a neat little detail. It's a fight between Shang and his sister, and she's understandably really pissed because from her perspective, when he left, he just left her there to be with the psychotic father. And he doesn't want to fight her, so he's just really kind of defending himself, like he's not attacking her really, and he kind of pays for it because she knocks him out and wins, and we find out that Katie bent against him.
That was very funny. She's like, "Oh yeah, good job, dude. You did great." Walks in with a bunch of money. But we get to hear the sister's side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
How when he left, he said he'd be back in like 3 days, and then 3 days turned into 3 weeks, months, years, and he never came back. And when she realized it at the age of 16,
she was like, "You know what? I'm gonna leave."
Yeah, and so that she waited for like 9 years.
Tough.
He never came back.
So sad. But she opened up her own fighting club, which
she
is
said
pretty sick.
if Dad wouldn't give me his dynasty, I'd make my own.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, is she wasn't allowed to train with the boys, so she watched and trained on her own, which is pretty sick.
Very like fluent in martial arts and
for sure
other weapons.
The Ten Rings, they attack the club. They're after Zaling's pendant.
Yes.
And pretty sick fight on the bamboo scaffolding outside. The bad dude, who's like, I guess the father's like number 2. He's like in this sick like ninja costume. It's like blue and
yeah, I think he's like the leader of the war.
He's
like
the best ninja.
He's BA. Very very cool.
Shang fights him.
And it has flashbacks of him losing over and over again as a child.
This guy. And yeah, dude, I think 10 more seconds, Shang was gonna kill this guy. Yeah. He was he had the
kunai.
Yeah, that hit the own blade of like the enemy, and he was about ready to stab him, but then his dad uses the rings to stop the fight.
And then we get to see that his dad was there from the. Like,
oh yeah, like this was all
to pick them up.
This was all his plan, was to
get them in the same place.
To get in. All right, let's go home. Family reunion.
So then they go back to the compound.
Yeah.
Right?
And Ling talks to Katie gives us more info about why his dad is just terrible and why she left.
Explaining that she wasn't allowed to train with everybody, and if as long as you don't say anything, he'll forget you're even there.
Yeah, just like smile and wave. So his father wants Shang to join him, and that's a hard no. And he at the dinner table, they speak of the Mandarin from Iron Man 3, who used like his name, and like
they didn't know his name, so they just called him the Mandarin.
Right. So it's a fun retcon here, because like that was something that people were upset about in Iron Man 3. I'm like, that's not what the Mandarin is. That's not what he looks like. Well, here you go. Here's the Mandarin. And backstory of the family. Yeah, we find out that they both had their powers. They had a pretty happy life. They had their kids. And then
he gave up all evil doings.
Mm-hmm. And then, shoot, what was his name? The father?
Wenwu?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Wenwu, he also thinks that his mother is speaking to him. And the voice says that Ta Lo, her original home, they won't let her go. So his father has been plotting how to use the maze and what time to use the maze. And he's like, yeah, I'm going there. I'm going to go there to get her. And if they stop me,
we'll burn it
tough.
down. He's going to burn down this legendary village or country.
Yeah.
Just to free his wife that isn't alive, but he believes she is. Is this when we get the flashback of how she passed?
We're getting there.
Okay, sorry.
But what's interesting is the dad does hear the voice. Because after Shang and his sister and Katie are like, this is crazy, blah blah blah, he like knocks him to the ground and like puts him in a prison. Yeah, and the father goes to sit down Wenwu, and he hears the voice. So I'm like, he does hear it. He just doesn't understand it quite yet. As they're locked up, they hear a super strange, like, growling voice. And they're like, what is that? And they go and explore, and it's Trevor, the quote-unquote Mandarin from Iron Man 3. Yeah, I love how when he talks about him playing a terrorist, he's like, oh, I know, that was so bland. That was...
Yeah, he said that he got picked up by the Ten Rings shortly after.
Yeah, Wenwu was going to kill him.
He was going to kill him. But then he did like a Macbeth or something.
Yeah. And they're like, this guy's pretty funny.
And every Friday he does a play. Which, I mean, that's pretty good living, you know?
Pretty sweet gig.
Being allowed to survive.
And that's your dream. Yeah. And we meet one of the cutest, gosh darn things in the MCU. We meet Morris, who's like basically this like round ball of fluff,
it's
with
like
four
a bear
legs
cub with wings
and no face. Yeah, with wings. And yeah, they're like, where's its face? And then he like cowers away, and then Trevor's like, well, no, he's very sensitive about it. And what's also pretty cool about Morris is he knows how the bamboo forest works to get to Ta Lo. But he said, and then Trevor asks Morris, because he's the only one that can talk to him, I guess. And also, Trevor thought Morris wasn't actually there. He thought he was making him up in his head.
He's like, oh, you can see him too?
Oh,
okay,
thank God. Morris tells him that there's a 90% chance that they can do it. 19% chance. So they get in a car and they steal, was it laser sword man? They steal his car, and
it's like Taserface. It's
they barely escape the compound.
Yes.
They make it there. That's pretty cool. Morris is there like telling them to turn left now, turn left. Or the forest will eat them.
They're like, you might want to speed up
That's pretty cool, like how nobody has found this before, because the forest is always like literally changing.
Yeah.
Really cool looking creatures in Ta Lo.
Yeah.
The
almost like ancient Chinese.
The lions.
Depictions. Yeah.
And then the Nine Tails, which is pretty sick.
And the horse dragon face thing.
And a bunch of Morrises. They're everywhere.
They're like squirrels.
They show up and they almost immediately hit one of the ancient horses. With some trepidation, they're eventually welcomed in, because it was an aunt of the mother,
the sister of the mother. So
they're like, oh, I know you. Yeah, come on in, you're cool. And dude, they find out the weapons that they use at this place, because they had the story about their
ancient protector.
Ta Lo has been there for like 4,000 years. The people are there to protect like the Black Gate. Ta Lo used to be a very advanced cities that they had all over the ancient world, but the armies opened up and they killed many and destroyed a lot.
What was the name?
Soul
of it?
Eater.
The one shrouded in darkness or something.
Yeah.
It was like a crazy name.
But then the Great Protector came out and like stopped the battle and gave them dragon scales to use in their weapons. Bro, they get dragon armor. They get dragon like swords and poles and stuff. I'm like, that is so cool.
Their whole shield is like a scale of armor, and it looks so cool.
So Shang and Xialing, they both get armor. Which I don't know why that she gets white armor and he gets red armor.
She's the only person in the entire movie that has the white armor.
Maybe the actor was like, I want white armor.
I don't know. Because they don't mention it.
Mm-mm.
They don't say anything about it. So
so we learn that when Wu is hearing the voice of the Soul Eater, and it's kind of communicating through the rings,
because the voice
latching on his desire for power and the conquest, and like they're using his dead wife basically to get him to set them free, which is tough. Because in my scenario, like the dad, like he was a good guy, or he was a bad guy that went to a good guy, then he figured out that
because of his actions and they have consequences.
Katie learns how to shoot a bow and arrow. Xialing, she gets the new dragon weapon thing that like it's like the blade that you can throw on the rope.
Yeah, it's like the tension. I can't remember what it's like, a gravity weapon.
But the blade is made out of dragon scales, which is dope.
Yes. Super cool.
Shang then learns how to fight like his mom. Thanks to his aunt, and it's a pretty cool thing. Like he learns to be like let go of his fear of his father. He learns to like not be as like tense and like bullheaded about stuff like that. It's a really cool scene where like he has his fist and she like opens up his fist just to be smooth, like be like water, like what is that, Bruce Lee? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. This reminds me of like, so Doctor Strange, his magic is like sparkles. I mean, there's no way to describe it, but like
it's more spells.
Yeah.
More spells.
This one has like elemental magic. Like it's being one with nature and
bending.
They are moving wind to pick up the leaves, and it's really, really cool.
Very sick.
And they have the water portal. Sorry, they have the water portal they come in through.
Oh, they have all the elements down.
I mean, it's very interesting.
So this is where we get the traumatic backstory. The night after training, Shang is talking to Katie, and this is where I think that this type of scene really excelled. How Shang really opens up here. So when they were kids, their dad was away. I think he was going to get groceries or something like that. And I'm assuming like the Yakuza or something like that. This gang shows up and they're pissed at his dad because, he's killed a lot of people in his past. And the mother is the only one there. And she tells the two kids to like go like into the rooms. And like, is it the daughter or Shang? I can't remember. But one of them's like, well, you don't have your powers anymore. What are you going to do?
I think it's Shang.
She holds her own for a while.
Oh, yeah.
She takes down like roughly like 20, 30 men.
Yeah, the first like wave was like 8 guys showed up.
Yeah.
And then as she was about to start fighting, like 6 more came in.
And I was like, oh.
Doesn't look good.
The dad shows up and there are bodies everywhere. Unfortunately, one of the bodies is his wife. And
with Shang over top of it crying.
And the dad's like, oh, okay. I'm going to go put on the rings and kill everybody. Take Shang with him.
That is so like,
Yeah, no, double trauma for Shang. Not only I think it's also like a type of scene where it's tragic because it's the loss of innocence too. Yes. He's no longer a child anymore.
And his dad, his dad didn't want to be a bad guy. He just wanted revenge.
Right.
So he went.
And we know that revenge is a fool's game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's tough, right? Because like if somebody killed my wife, they're dying too. I know the consequences of that, but like, I don't know, in that moment, it doesn't seem to matter. but yeah, he took Shang with him, and like he nodded, and like, yeah, those are the dudes, and it's like, oh Lord, it is so brutal. Like he's throwing people around, like smacking them against the walls, hitting them with the rings, and like at the very end, right in front of Shang, the guy's like laying on the ground and like,
like begging for his life.
yeah, and the Wenwu's like, who did this? Who sent them? And he goes, I don't know. I swear I don't know. And he goes, I believe you. And he shoots the rings down, and I imagine it was like his head just kind of like exploded all over the ground. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh my God.
Right in front of a child.
And yeah, then after that, he turned Shang into a weapon and kind of turned into a bad guy again.
Yeah. We also find out that when he was sent for the assassination, he
originally told Katie, right, that
he couldn't go through with it, and he came
to America.
But the thing was, he did go through with it, and he didn't like that he was able to do that.
Right.
So
the feeling didn't go away.
Yeah.
The feeling of like hatred and revenge because like that was the thing too. Not only his dad that wanted to see his people suffer. I almost feel like that anger and that fear and that hatred was kind of like, passed on from his father into Shang.
Yeah.
And for a while, I think, because like the theme of yin and yang kind of comes up in this a lot. I don't know which one is it. Yang that's the evil, and is he? I don't know which one's the evil one.
Sure.
I'm gonna say the evil one is his father definitely, and his mother was definitely the light, the good side, and his father's side won for a while, until he came to America and met Katie and yada yada. But I think that's an interesting character thing, that Shang is not only trying to better himself as a fighter, but he's trying to fight the inner demons of like the evilness that his father.
Person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Katie has some good advice. Like she's like, you don't have to be like that weapon that he made you. And that's his fear, is he's going to be like his father. So we prepare for war because Wenwu is on his way, and he knows the path, and he brings all of his men with him. Father is here, and they has talk, and it's tough because the voice appears to him again. And like this is such a tough scenario because like this is a good example of a tragic villain. Because, like, in that scenario, that's tough, man. If I'm hearing my wife's voice, they say, come free me, like, I'm probably going to do it.
Yeah. It's that aspect of being so close.
Well, he's blinded, yeah, for sure. Like you said, he's blinded by revenge and, what?
Just the need.
Yeah, yeah, the obsession. Talking doesn't go so well.
No, not really. Especially after he hears the voice. I mean, it's kind of over after that.
He kind of like, I think he initiates it, doesn't it? Wenwu.
He goes, burn it down.
Yeah. Oh, and they shoot lasers at him, right?
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, they have pretty cool like guns and stuff. And then
he just walks straight through.
Oh yeah, he's unconcerned. So Shang follows after him while like everybody else kind of runs together and does a battle. Yeah, Shang sees Wenwu like looking at an old like photograph and lighting a candle, or like a picture of Li is, and it is tough. They has fight, and Shang kind of gets whooped right here.
Oh yeah,
he gets like knocked into the is it a big lake?
I believe it's a giant lake.
He gets knocked into the lake like unconscious.
Like drowning, unconscious.
Yeah. And his dad uses the rings to like
propel
do like
himself.
kind of a Hulk jump.
Dude, so cool. Like if he wasn't a bad guy, he'd be one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, he jumps over to the Black Gate, which is across this lake, and he starts pounding on the door, which is not
puts
good.
all 10 on one arm.
Yeah.
So it's like a super punch.
Yeah, and the little soul eaters start to come out, and not good. That's not good.
Because they come and they eat anybody's soul, so it doesn't matter which side they were on.
Yeah, the BA blue ninja
Laser?
dude.
Oh yeah.
killed immediately by one of the little soul. And I'm
like
like, oh my god,
the number 2 guy dies immediately.
And yeah, laser
fist.
He's like, we don't need your help, and then like he sees his weapons do absolutely nothing, and they're like, we should be together. We should join. And yeah, so he gets like a dragon laser or laser sword arm.
His arm looks like a screwdriver, like a power drill, where like you can unscrew it and you can take the bit out. And put a new one in. So he like replaces the bit of his arm.
So,
and they start, because during all of this, the dad is just punching away at that door,
and more like probably hundreds and hundreds of little soul eaters are coming out.
The worst part is they're going back in with the souls, meaning they're feeding something in there.
So Katie, who is actually gotten pretty good with the bow, is there helping shoot them with like, was his name Bo? Something
I
Bo.
believe yeah.
Yeah, he trained her. He's like an old
he's like the village elder.
Yeah. Who like is really good at archery. So Katie's out there helping, Xialing is out there helping. They're all taking on these little death eater or little soul eaters.
Death eaters.
Death eaters. And I think we cut back to Shang in the water, and he has a flashback with his mother, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it his aunt's words or something like that about his mother?
It's something, because it reminds him of like just some. I mean, I don't remember.
It was a touching. I remember it was a touching moment, but
yeah.
Anyways, something is like rumbling beneath him, and
There's
like bubbles start
bubbles.
to come up. Dude, the Great Protector. That's like one of those. It's like a Chinese dragon, right?
An ancient Eastern dragon.
Yeah, dude, it comes up. It looks so cool.
It was, yes.
It comes up to like help take on all the little soul eaters. I think unfortunately around the same time though, right? The big bad starts to make his way. Or no, Shang gets down to where his father is, right?
Yes.
And they have a little skirmish again.
But this time Shang has like learned a little, you know? I mean, he's starting to like
to be unafraid, to be just
and
at
he catches
peace.
half of the rings.
Dude, he gets which is so cool because I didn't think it was like that's how it worked. Like I didn't know it was possible that somebody could just take another like the wielder's rings.
Yeah,
which is sick.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and they change color. I don't know. I wonder what the significance of that is because the father's is blue.
It's like revenge or war versus wanting peace. Like the reason why you're fighting, maybe. Like his father was trying to conquer.
I don't know what blue mean. Like, does blue mean conquer?
Good. I don't know. It is interesting because when his mother grabbed them, they also turned gold.
Oh, interesting.
But whenever the father has them, they're blue. So I don't know if it's.
I don't know. I don't know what the colors mean, and maybe it's like something with Asian culture, like maybe those colors have certain significance. I don't know.
Or something that they mention later.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about it later. Remind me.
So they're fighting with that, and it's kind of a stalemate, I guess. But I think eventually the father gets all the rings back. Or no, Shang gets all the rings, and he just throws them to the ground because he's like, I don't want to fight you anymore, Dad. And the dad's just like I have to keep going. She's right there. And that's when the big bad like breaks out of the Black Gate.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a ginormous soul eater. And it's like...
This is really cool because it brings
like
dragons into the MCU.
It's like a mix between dragons...
and like demons.
Yeah, basically.
It is.
With like a 8-pronged tail, I guess.
Yeah.
It has no face. It just has horns and a giant mouth. And yeah, this thing is grotesque to look at. So solid detail.
It's definitely scary. I mean, like, if this was real, I would cry.
Yeah. And this is so tough because, like, the dad puts on the rings again, and then the thing grabs him and, like, is, like, sucking his soul out. And it's always so tough. Like, I always love the quote. It's like, your last moment is what you're really made of. And, like, his father's last act was to give the rings to Shang. and then he dies because he gets his soul sucked out, and I'm like, oh, tough.
It's like
tough.
the passing of the gauntlet to the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It is beautiful. I mean, it's really sad because like this guy was bad, but he's still Shang's father. So
yeah, no, for sure. Then we got a big epic CGI dragon on dragon fight.
yeah. I mean, honestly,
Shang and
it's really good CGI.
Zailing,
Xiaoling.
the brother and sister hop on a dragon and they fight the Soul Eater, which is so cool.
Bad part is their dragon's losing.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely outmatched. And like it gets grabbed and
it gets wrapped up.
Yeah, and then one of the tentacles like grab his sister and start pulling her away, and Shang like grabs her and she's like, "It's okay, you can let me go." And he goes, "I'm not leaving you again," which is like, "Aw."
This was really cool.
And then it's like starting to suck the soul out of the dragon, and I'm like, "Oh no!"
It showed another use for the rings. Like instead of conquering, he was trying to protect. Like
because the half of them wrapped around her.
Went like a couple went to her, and then they like it was so cool.
Yeah.
Because it was on him and also on the dragon. It was doing the same thing. Help with his grip.
Yeah. Old Elder Bo tells us that you got to shoot like the neck is, where it's vulnerable.
Yeah.
There's like some slits or something,
But
which I don't know why.
Then he dies.
Yeah, and then he dies, and I'm like, okay. And then like what I was actually thinking though throughout this entire battle, I was like, where's Morris? Where? And then like it cuts to Morris, and he's like. He's waddling over to Trevor.
He fights
and
Trevor's
then
body.
And then Trevor's like, and then Morris is like, oh my god. You can tell like in his no face, he's like he thinks Trevor's dead, and he goes, "Get down here, Morris, act dead. I'm trying to play dead." And then he flops over and plays dead. Wait, dude, that's genius. If you don't have powers, just act dead.
So smart. Soul Eater's not gonna eat something that's already dead.
Yeah. And give Morris an Oscar.
Oh yeah,
he's dead. He's 100% dead. I believe he's dead.
Then we go back to the dragons.
Yeah,
and the guardian dragon is about to lose.
Oh yeah,
like,
about to die.
Soul is coming.
And then
out
that
of
would have been
mouth.
it. That would have been GG if it would have absorbed the dragon.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been able to be stopped.
Yeah, no, you would need some high-ranking Avengers to stop that thing.
That don't exist anymore. I mean,
Thor's still around.
Yeah,
Captain Marvel's out there.
Oh, great.
But before that happens, Katie fires an arrow into the thing's throat and kind of like
A+ precision, dude.
And
it
like
so
distracts it and hurts it for a little bit, gives him the upper hand. Yeah, dude, they knock the thing to the ground with the dragon's help. They like put it in the water vortex, and then he like shoots like essentially like a Kamehameha with the rings, and it like rips the thing apart. And like it blows up in the water,
Yeah,
which is pretty
he
sick.
He shoots the rings down its throat and then like into its stomach, and then it was
So yeah, that's the end of that fight. Tallow is
it's saved.
It's defended. Fortunately, father's dead.
Many losses on both sides.
But what's pretty cool is Xialing. She takes it she takes her father's warriors and rebuilds the compound and does it her own way. And I'm like, all right, that's pretty sick.
I'm worried
pretty
that
cool
she's going to be a bad guy eventually.
I hope not. But it was pretty cool, like how you guys said she was repainting the compound.
Yeah.
And also how they were like women and men like training there,
together.
which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
So that wrapped up pretty nice.
And then
so now Shang is the like sole owner of the 10 rings.
We cut to them telling this story.
Yeah,
to their friends.
They're friends back at the bar.
So I guess we missed this at the beginning of the story. It's Sean.
It was
and
part
Katie.
of the friends that were telling him to like
move
on with your life.
Grow up, yeah. So now they're telling them this fantastical story of, oh, we did this crazy stuff. All like it was awesome.
There were
and
dragons.
They saved the world. And then they're just like,
oh, okay, you're making fun of me because I told you to. And then who shows up to corroborate the story? The best side character ever.
I think he's becoming a main character. I mean, he deserves his own movie.
I mean, and during that time, he was the Sorcerer Supreme. He shows up with the sling ring, Bro, he shows up, takes a drink of the friend's glass, tells Shang to come with him, and then leaves. Chad. And so they take... Yeah, so this is kind of like the after credit.
Yes.
Wong has taken Shang and Katie back to the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Because
they're having like
they were studying the rings.
They have like a digital like Zoom meeting with Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner.
Oh, okay.
Which is Bruce, which is interesting.
Yes.
We don't know what that's about quite yet.
Yeah, why is he not?
Why is he not Professor Hulk?
His arm is still in a sling.
True. The effects of the snap.
Wong said that once Shang, thank you. Once he got the rings, they felt it in
the sanctum. Yeah,
meaning that
there's some connection
could be why
there.
the color changed is because they started sending that pulse.
Ooh.
Because they said that it's like they're alive, trying to send a
to like maybe because it did.
message.
Maybe it's like it's a signal of like the right person has them or something. Ooh, maybe.
Or somebody who's weak enough to beat. That's what I'm worried about.
I don't know. He seems pretty capable.
Yeah, but he doesn't have like the 1,000 years of experience that his father did.
You know, he's still got to train for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's sending a message, which is interesting. Captain Marvel says she never seen the tech before.
Bruce doesn't understand.
Bruce doesn't know what it is. All he knows is that it's sending a message, which could have bad implications. But they just they kind of trust Shang with the rings to kind of do what's right.
I mean, he did kind of save
the world. Yeah. And that's kind of where it ends. It's not a bad opener, I don't think, by any means for like Phase 5. It's pretty solid action, solid CGI. Shang-Chi is a pretty cool character.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was fine. I would, 6, 7 out of 10.
I was gonna say 7. I give it a 7 because, like we talked about, I think it's a really good introduction to the character.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing that I'm worried about for the rest of the Phase 5, is this they're doing world level events instead of like how Iron Man only fought that Iron guys.
Oh, they're not like building.
Yeah, it's like this guy could have destroyed the world, but he stopped them.
So you're like the stakes are going to be kind of like mundane.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, he already saved the world. What more do we want from him? I'm afraid that that's what it's going to be.
I could see it running out of steam.
But very cool introduction.
Yeah, it was fun.
Really good. I thought this had really good CGI.
Yeah, CGI looked good.
The CGI from here on out definitely takes a plunge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I gave it a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it.
All right. Well, this has been the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast. Thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you next time.